Gracious, this thing's moving slow tonight. There it goes. Hey, Tennille. Maybe it's gonna stay. Let's hope. I'll put my candle over here and then it's probably gonna crash. Hi, everybody. Hey, Liz. How's everybody doing tonight? Staying warm? Hey, Scott. Is everybody staying warm tonight? Whew. It's cold out there. It's so chilly out there. Hey, Denise. Why is this moving so slow? Everything's moving slow. Whew. Everything's just cold. Da, da, da. Everybody ready for Christmas? I just gotta get things wrapped. Mike started, as you see behind me, Mike started his wrapping today. I ain't started nothing yet. Neener Baker! Mia. Mari, are you there? How is everybody doing? Miss Monica and Jen? Everybody have a good weekend? Too cold, I'm gonna start yawning. I had a great weekend. Saturday was kind of blah, just lazy. And then I got a text from my brother Sunday morning asking me to go to ride on the Santa Express with him and my 2-year-old nephew and my 16-year-old niece. I was like, sure. So I got to see Santa Claus and the Grinch and watch my 2-year-old nephew have a ball. God, they're so wonderful at this age. I mean, I just love toddlers. I just love them. I just squeeze them. And he's so mean. God, he's so sassy. Oh my gosh. He has got my sass. How is everybody doing? There's my darlings. My sin sister is on here. The sin sister is in the house. Miss Sonia, when are you gonna talk one of your authors and to let me read them? Like any time of the year 2020 would work. Just curious. I mean I know Zach does his own, but you've got like 50 other authors that I could read. And a few of them even kind of like me a little bit. So I'm just curious. The only time I get to read anybody I like is if I can bribe them into coming on here. Oh, did I say bribe? I don't really bribe anybody. Beg. That's the B word I was looking for. Beg. Beg people to come on. Whew. Alright, who's up in New England where all this ice is at? Sonia, are you guys getting hit with the ice? It's 40 degrees here. Actually, it may be a little bit cooler than that now. More like 36, 37, 38, something like that. But it's cold. Whew. Lisa, bless her heart. We were watching it on the news tonight. Hey, Nancy. We were watching it on the news tonight, and it was horrible. Well, Jamie, you need to be lighting some fires under some asses is all I gotta say. Ugh. Bless your heart, Lisa. I just, Snow is bad enough. I hate snow with a passion, but ice, I just absolutely despise. There is no good when it comes to ice. I'm cold, y'all. When I'm cold, I yawn. I'm not tired. I mean, I am tired, but I'm not. It's not because I'm bored or anything like that. It's just because I'm cold. When I'm cold, it makes me sleepy. So my apologies. When I start reading, I'll wake up. Ooh. Man, need something to warm us up, don't we, Miss Lisa? Tonight's is not going to be real. I'm not going to say it's warm. Not like last week's. It is a Christmas book, and it is a sweet book. But it's more of a coming of age book. It's young adults kind of thing. So, but it is good. It is good. I'm not gonna. It's just not what you guys are used to in the sexy department. So, you know. But it's a good book, and it's very well written. Tonight's book is called Onyx by Melissa Adams. I'm just kind of waiting on Melissa to come on. Give her a little bit of time. Give her a couple more minutes, and then I'll wear my Christmas bells and my Christmas necklace today. My Walmart specials. Hey, Miss Cam, how are you, darling? We had an open house at work today. I got to see Santa Claus, and he informed me that, yes, it is true. I am on the naughty list. Duh. And, we, had kids running around. I'm not into these crowds anymore, and they just stress me out. But that's okay. I told them that we've come to the determination at work. I've become very unsociable, except on social media. Because I love you guys. Alrighty, we're about ready to get started here, I guess. Hey, Miss Nicole. I guess everybody will join us when they join us. So, as I said before, tonight's book is by Melissa Adams. It's called Onyx. Beautiful cover. If you guys can't see this, go look in the feed. It's also on the cover photo. Beautiful picture. So, thank you, Miss Sarah. Hey, Nicole. All righty. So, oh, by the way, the book has a bonus recipe of pasta with vodka sauce. Just saying. A Christmas surprise. Ka! I groan and cover my head with my pillow, willing to cling to my precious sleep, but the wretched bird screams again. Caw! Caw! I stumble out of bed and look outside the window at the black feathered creature perched on the tree right outside. I named him Fred. Since the asshole has been waking me up bright and early every morning since spring sprung. Labor Day weekend has just gone. Will you migrate already or hibernate or whatever birds do in the winter? I'd really like to sleep past 6 a.m. He looks at me with his little shiny beady eyes and utters another caw. One of these days, Fred, I'll throw one of my shoes at you. I don't know what else. I don't know what kind of bird Fred is. He's black and roughly the size of a magpie. Maybe a small crow. The ping of my phone distracts me from my conversation with Fred, and I check the incoming text message. Joe, meet me at Jules Cafe in 10. We need to talk. I can't stifle the automatic eye roll at my ex-boyfriend's message. He already dumped me the day after prom, so the we need to talk doesn't really have any effect on me. It's not like he can dump me again, right? I can't stifle. Joe and I are co-captains of the debate club at school, and we started dating last year after homecoming. He was my first serious boyfriend and the first and so far only boy I've slept with. He's smart and witty and popular at school, but as the boyfriends go, he was selfish and cheated on me with Brittany, a girl in the debate club. I make my way downstairs completely lost in my thoughts, and I almost don't see my parents as I walk past the living room. Onyx, can we talk to you, sweetie? Sure. I normally would have thrown myself into my dad's arms, but our relationship has been rocky since he and Mom announced that they were getting a divorce last Christmas. I mean, who in their right mind splits up on Christmas Day? But things hadn't been going well for a while in our household, and I guess the writing had been on the wall for a few months. Apparently, Dad had an affair with Mom's boss, the owner of the Silver Springs Gazette. When she discovered that her boss had been fucking her husband, Mom took a baseball bat to the office and destroyed everything that was breakable in the tabloid premises. Obviously, she was fired from her job, and Sophie, her boss, dumped Dad too, saying that she couldn't deal with his crazy-ass wife. I mean, seriously? I've always been a daddy's girl. Mom and I are too similar, and we clash more often than not. But when I heard the news, I developed a new respect for my mom. I actually wish I could have been there to take a swing at the bitch's computer screen too. Since the split, Mom has been writing freelance and waiting tables at the local diner. She was obviously sentenced to repay the thousands of dollars in damages that her little rampage had caused at the Gazette. And Dad had moved into a studio apartment at the edge of town. No amount of groveling convinced Mom to take her cheating husband back, and I've been resenting both of them for upsetting our seemingly perfect lives. Money has been a problem since then, with a mortgage and a rent that now fall almost solely on Dad, and my parents' little stunt has totally ruined Christmas for me. Bah fucking humbug. I can quote lots of different major and minor disasters that occurred on Christmas Day. From me getting chickenpox one year, to the flu another year, to Dad's flight getting canceled because of a snowstorm 2 years ago and causing him to miss Christmas with us. Coincidentally, Dad got stuck in Chicago and bumped into Mom's boss. That was the beginning of their affair and the beginning of the end for my parents' marriage. So I glare at my parents and fold my arms over my chest in a protective stance. Like with Joe's message, what else can they do to ruin my life? And do you know when people say rock bottom? The next two events in my morning confirm my belief that there's no such thing as rock bottom. Believe me, you can find new lows when you least expect it. Onyx, we wanted to talk about Christmas. I resist rolling my eyes at them. Here it goes. Christmas strikes again. It's September. Can this wait? I was meeting someone before school, and so if I was hoping that Dad was here to see me off to the first day of my senior year at Stonehill High, I was sorely mistaken. Mom intervenes. We wanted to tell you that this year's money is going to be very tight, so the scale we normally do things will be reduced by a lot. We know it isn't fair on you, but Mom, do you really think I care about presents? I think it's safe to say that after last year, I fucking hate Christmas. I throw my most accusing glare at them. How could this be any different when last Christmas I woke up to them yelling at each other and to Mom aiming at Dad's head with every plate, mug, and small appliances she had within reach. And again, I don't blame her. When she locked up the Gazette office for the Christmas break, Mom couldn't remember if she'd left a window open in the bathroom. And after a few break-ins in the area, she went back to check a few hours later when she couldn't relax, plagued by the doubt. That's when she walked into Dad and her boss. Dad didn't come home that night, but when he showed up at home on Christmas morning, Mom was waiting for him, jacked up on coffee and haven't had time to plan his welcome home. So yeah, Christmas lost a lot of its appeal when I saw Mom crying inconsolably on Christmas Eve, and I had to witness my parents' ugly row in the morning. It was so awful that I couldn't even bring myself to open any of the presents under the tree. Most of them are still sitting in a dark corner of my closet, still wrapped. My parents don't seem to take any notice of my attitude, and Mom continues. The reason why money is going to be super tight is that I'm pregnant. And the baby is due around Christmas Eve. So I sit down, or more accurately, my knees give away, and my knees give in, and I land on the couch, staring at my mom with mouth wide open. Where do I even start? But you don't even look pregnant. How are you going to have a baby in 4 months? Mom is tall and willowy with long blonde hair and the stunning looks of a runway model. I inherited my short stature and my generous curves from my dad's side of the family. I also got my parental grandmother's red hair and green eyes, Mom's eyes. Even with you, Onyx, I didn't start showing until very late in the pregnancy. Loose clothes hide a lot. She shifts her flowing black tunic to reveal a tiny baby bump in place of her normally flat stomach. I take a deep breath. I'm about to hyperventilate, and I don't want to give Mom the satisfaction. Who's the father? Mom started dating pretty much immediately after the split to piss Dad off more than anything, and there's been a constant flow of guys picking her up for dates. Please tell me it isn't Dave. Yeah, Dave was super obnoxious and sleazy looking. Dad clears his voice, throwing Mom a sideways glance, and comes clean. I'm the father, Onyx. How? I thought you guys were over, the whole divorce thing. The whole being unable to be in the same room without yelling at each other and without Mom throwing shit at you, Dad. Mom sits down next to me and looks at me guiltily. Well, your father and I hooked up last April. Remember when you got dumped at prom and you called us in tears and Dad spent the night here to support you? Well, and I might have been dating, but I haven't met anyone I liked enough to, Gross. Okay, not gross, but am I the only one who finds the idea of my parents doing it something that I'd rather not think about? So are you two getting back together? They answer in unison. Dad, maybe. Mom, no. Mom clarifies that their one-night stand was just a slip-up. Onyx, I'm not saying that we hate each other. I still love your dad and will always have you and your baby sister to tie us to one another. But our marriage is over. The new baby doesn't change what happened last Christmas. Whatever. I seethe and walk away, leaving my parents gaping at my back. I know they probably think that this is about having less presents at Christmas and that I'm being a brat, but they don't understand that I miss them. I miss my family. I miss snuggling on the couch with them to watch old movies, reading the Gazette together on Sunday mornings at the breakfast table, and having Dad make me toaster strudels for breakfast as a good luck ritual on debate days. And I'm mad at them for bringing another child into this mess of a broken family because they couldn't bother with protection. In the last 12 months, I've had to be the responsible adult in this family, and how will I explain all this mess to my new sister when one day she'll inevitably wonder why Mom... Why is there flashing lights? Okay. Why Mom has the strange habit of throwing things aiming at Dad's head. I wasn't already looking forward to Christmas, but now I seriously dread it. Chapter 2, Debate Club. I walk on the pretty cobblestone that pave the area of Jules Cafe's entrance and look through the floor-to-ceiling windows when I don't see Joe at the few tables that crowd the coffee shop's cordoned area at the entrance. The owners put the tables out in the summer, and the weather should be nice enough to sit outside for at least a couple of more weeks. I immediately hate that Joe didn't sit outside since this is a warm, sunny morning, but I spot him at one of the tables by the left window. I haven't really seen him much since we broke up, but he hasn't changed at all. Still buzz-cut black hair and green eyes, broad shoulders, and a good physique, if a little on the short side for how I usually like guys. But this intelligent conversation definitely made up for his lack of stature, at least until he started treating me like an annoyed condensation and arguing with every single decision I was making as co-president of the debate club. It was a total change of personality, and I struggled to understand the reasons behind it until he dumped me on prom night. And I found out shortly after that he was banging Brittany behind my back and everybody knew. As soon as I sit down, the cafe owner, Julian, brings me a cup of peppermint tea. Joe must have ordered for me, knowing full well that I hate the flavor of coffee while he's drinking an espresso black like his soul. Okay, what do you want to talk about? He sips on his coffee to hide his annoyance at my blunt tone. I haven't forgiven him for cheating on me, and I've purposely avoided every place in town where I knew I could run into him, spending most of my summer locked in my room or hiding away at Spell, Silver Springs Public Library. While I know he wouldn't be caught dead because he's allergic to dust and can't go near old tomes. I know we broke up, Onyx, but is there any reason to be so rude? We dated for 8 months after all. I look into my teacup, concentrating on the steamy hot liquid, anything rather than looking at my ex-boyfriend. Yeah, well, can you blame me for feeling a bit salty over being cheated on and dumped at prom so you could take Brittany to the after party? I thought you got over it. That was ages ago. Sometimes you're so immature. I glare at him. Sure, it's easy to take the high road when you're the one doing the cheating. He's lucky that I'm not my mom and that I like this cafe, or I'd start throwing mugs at his face. When I don't grace him with a comment, he continues. Since you want to dispense with the common pleasantries, I'll get straight to the point. You're off the debate club, and Brittany will be my co-president this year. I just wanted to give you the heads up to avoid you the embarrassment of showing up at our first meeting this afternoon. What do you mean I'm out of the debate club? Whose decision is that? You can't do that to me. The club has to vote someone's expulsion. Joe sighs as if I'm particularly slow and explains that the club met last night at his house and they took a vote. Why wasn't I there? That's like an ambush. If your new girlfriend couldn't bear to have me in the club, she should have given me at least a chance to defend myself. I want another meeting at the chance to. Onyx, just accept this gracefully. We had the legal number for a meeting, and if you look at the school's bylaws, a club meeting is legal even off school premises as long as there's the minimum legal amount of members and the meeting takes place after official school registration. Sorry, but this is what's best for the team. I can't have Brittany feeling insecure over having you there. You can go and complain to the principal, but we follow the club's rules very carefully. I can't believe him. I gave all my free time to the debate club, and it's my only elective. Winning debates looks good on college applications, and each Stonehill High student needs at least one elective class or qualifying club in order to graduate. I explained this to Joe, but he doesn't seem concerned about the bind he just put me in. There are tons of clubs at school. Just find yourself something else. I'm not going to risk my relationship for you, Onyx. Sorry. And before you say anything else, may I remind you that I was in the club before you? So in the breakup, I get the club. I feel tears starting to push their way to the surface and swallow a few times. I don't want to give him the satisfaction of seeing me cry. I thought you loved me, you know? How did we end up here? Joe shrugs. To be honest, Onyx, I'm into blondes. I asked you out because Brittany was dating Kevin, the student body president, and then when the jerk dumped her, I stayed with you because you just decided to put out. After all, what guy leaves certain sex to pursue someone who might not even be interested? But we're in high school. Love is really a big word. I stand up abruptly. I need to leave before I decide to throw my hot tea in his face. If I make it to school early, I might have time to see the student counselor and find myself another elective. I walk toward the cafe's exit feeling miserable. This day couldn't have started any worse. But as I keep my eyes fixed on the ground, lost in my misery, I walk straight into Amber, the pretty blonde girl who owns the cafe with Julian. We crash into each other and she drops her laptop and a few leaflets she was carrying. I start uttering apologies, glad that she wasn't carrying anything hot or fragile, but she looks more concerned for my well-being than for the stuff she dropped. I help her collect the leaflets, and that's when I notice that they're there for a job ad. They're looking for a part-time waitress here at the cafe. I look at Amber and ask, would you hire a high school student? She gives me a friendly smile. Sure. We had applications already, but we haven't started interviews. Why don't you stop by tomorrow after school? I thank her and promise to see her tomorrow afternoon. If I could get a job, I could help Mom and Dad with money for the new baby, ease some of their stress. I just turned 18 and somehow I doubt that Mom has kept any of my baby stuff. She must have thought, maybe if I put my glasses on. Oh, looky there, there's words. She must have thought that I'd be an only child at this point. I know I didn't react to their news the way my parents were hoping, but it wasn't out of selfishness, I swear. It was out of disappointment that at least I got to live in a happy family for 17 years, but the new baby will know none of that. If I can't help my parents mend their relationship, I want to help at least with all the things that the new baby will need. Chapter 3, A Christmas Memory. Onyx. I'm afraid that after registration has been completed, I don't have much to offer in the way of elective, Miss Mancini. All the clubs seem to be full this year. I beg Miss Hamilton to find something, anything. Please, Mrs. Hamilton. If I don't find an elective, I'll be in trouble. Plus, I'm applying to colleges and I can't have an empty resume for my senior year. The student counselor taps on her keyboard, producing a clicking sound with her acrylic nails. Well, it seems you're in luck, Miss Mancini. The drama club isn't actually full. They're having their first meeting today at 4 p.m. in the school auditorium. They're the only club who still has room for new members. I try to explain that I know nothing about acting, but Mrs. Hamilton dismisses me with a distant smile. I'm sure you could help with costumes or something else if you don't want to act. I'm sorry, Miss Mancini, but I have a scheduled appointment with a transfer student, so I take the hint and open the door just to crash against a large body. He was about to knock and didn't expect the door to open so abruptly, so it's a full-body collision. I lose my footing and I'm ready to land on my ass when I'm lifted by two strong arms and I find myself staring into a pair of huge hazel eyes. They belong to a tall, stunning guy, black hair buzzed short on the sides and his head and longer on top, falling defiantly over his forehead, a perfect square jaw and the broadest shoulders I've ever seen, encased in a black leather jacket. We stare at one another quietly for what could be a second or 5 minutes, and as I see his gaze wander down my body, I feel dizzy at how good he smells. Something like wintergreen and ginger. Mr. Dawson, are you going to come in, or shall we have a meeting from the doorstep? His lips stretched in a little defiant smirk, as if he was thinking about a smart-ass reply, but then he opts for a polite, "No, ma'am, excuse me." The "excuse me" is hushed at me in his low, almost hypnotic drawl, and I reluctantly get out of his way, closing the office door behind me. I sit in homeroom, and if you ask me who's in my class this year, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. My mind is on overload from the eventful morning I've had. From my family situation to Joe to the encounter I've just had in Mrs. Hamilton's office. That guy had a powerful effect on me, something I haven't felt in a while, and that only 2 other boys have ever made me feel. And this is actually why... something's tickling me. I think it's fuzz from my shirt. And this is actually why I've been staying away from anything that has to do with the damn drama club. It's a story that very few people know, not even my bestie Holly. Or at least she knows the events, but not how they affected me. It was freshman year and I had a huge crush on 2 boys throughout middle school. Robin Witter and Alan Lindley are the hottest, sexiest male specimens I've ever seen. They're best friends, and I know I'm not the only girl who finds them drool-worthy. They're the most popular guys in school, and it's always been this way. I'm not super shy or anything, but I've stayed away from them since a Christmas party at Alan's house in 9th grade. Always fucking Christmas. I swear that holiday is doomed. It just brings me the worst possible luck. I'd started crushing on Robin and Alan, but I didn't know what to do about it because we hung out with different crowds. Until one day, completely out of the blue, I got a Facebook friend request from Alan and I got invited to a Christmas party at his house. I accepted, and for the magical week leading up to the party, both boys started to say hi to me at school. Now, don't get me wrong, I couldn't care less about popularity, but those 2 are the best looking guys I've seen before the new guy I literally crashed into this morning. They're both blonde, but Robin has the sexiest, most enigmatic dark blue eyes I've ever seen, and a clean-cut, classy look. He often wears blazers and tailored jeans or slacks that, without being skinny jeans, show off one of the most perfect butts I've ever seen. Alan has lighter blonde hair compared to Robin, and the most soulful brown eyes a girl could get lost in. He has astonishingly perfect features, and I've had the misfortune of seeing him shirtless last year in chemistry class when his lab partner had an accident with the experiment and soiled his shirt with hot liquid. Well, damn. He doesn't have a six-pack. I think I stopped counting at 12, and his abs aren't the only thing that's perfect. His chest is strong and defined, and I fantasized more than once about resting my head on it while dancing. But to get back to the reason I stay away, obviously the guys weren't quite so muscular freshman year, but to my 14-year-old self, they looked just as yummy as they do now. So in freshman year, I went to the party, and if I thought that the whole school would be there, I was surprised to see it wasn't a huge get-together. The boys play lacrosse aside from being in the drama club, so there were people from both the club and the team. A small group was playing Twister in the Den, and some people were dancing in the living room. Holly was there too, but we weren't friends at the time. My bestie used to be a bit of a mean girl, and we didn't become close until I saw her through the attitude that came from some family trauma. I wandered aimlessly between the two rooms, regretting going to a party where I didn't really have any friends, when a warm voice startled me coming from behind my back. "Hey, you're Onyx, right?" Robin was smiling at me, and his eyes twinkled, impossibly dark, like two blue sapphires. I nodded, my throat suddenly dry, and he asked me to dance. I took his hand and let him lead me to the middle of the living room. His arms felt solid and safe, but exciting at the same time, and I couldn't take my gaze away from his. We danced for a few songs, and he seemed happy to keep dancing with me. He didn't make any attempt to stop, and I didn't want him to. I was so lost in the feeling of Robin's arms that it did take me a minute to register that he stopped by the furthest corner of the room near the patio doors that led to the backyard. On one side of the doorway there was a huge Christmas tree, but at the opposite corner, on the upper door frame, there was a sprig of green leaves and white flowers. Mistletoe. Robin's eyes were fixed onto mine as he whispered, "We're under the mistletoe. You know the tradition, that I should kiss you." I smiled and nodded, and when his soft lips brushed against mine, I thought my heart was going to explode or my knees give in. It was the best feeling in the world. His lips were warm and silky, and after a few seconds, Robin increased the pressure and a rush of warmth invaded my body. His hands were cupping my jaw, gentle and warm, and then I felt the tip of his tongue trying to tease my lips open and realized that Robin wanted a real kiss. I didn't have time to succumb to his silent, sweet advance because someone called his name, making him jump and break the kiss. "Robin, dude, seriously, what the fuck?" Alan was standing by the Christmas tree, his brown eyes flashing with fury, and Robin had walked away, following his friend without a word. I was unable to stop thinking about my first kiss. But if I thought that the kiss had meant something to Robin, I guess I was mistaken. He never talked to me again or so much as acknowledged my existence after this Christmas party, and neither did Alan. Maybe I was a bad kisser. Or maybe that was the first strike from Christmas. Only bad things happen during the holiday, I swear. Thank God it's only September, and hopefully for this year, the lack of money and the new baby in the mess that my family has become will be enough, and no catastrophes will descend upon me. 4. Her bah humbug. Robin. I'm backstage collecting the scripts for today's audition when Dylan elbows me to look at her. "It's her, look." I peer through the gap that he's opened in the curtains, and how could I miss the long auburn hair, the petite frame, the vibrant green of her eyes. I always know when she enters a room. I perfected the art of watching her without her knowing. And I know that I sound like a total creep, but what's the alternative? I can't lose my best friend over a girl, not even Onyx Massini. I glare at my cousin, and my tone is harder than intended. "What the fuck? Are you kidding me?" He doesn't take the hint and continues enthusiastically. No, it's the hot girl I was telling you about. She crashed into me while I was going to see the student counselor. She's pretty. I've been thinking of a way to ask her out, but if she joins the drama club, I'll have the perfect excuse to hang out. I roll my eyes and I tell him that I'll explain later why he can't ask Onyx out. Dylan has just moved in with my family because his parents, both Army officers, got sent to Korea for a year, and it's an unaccompanied tour, so no dependents were allowed. My mom offered my aunt to have Dylan live with us, and I honestly don't mind. He's really a cool guy, but aside from spending every summer here in Silver Spring since we were babies, he doesn't know anything about my life, and of course the first thing he noticed was the girl of my dreams. Robin, have you got the scripts? We need to get started. I'm so excited about this year's projects. Miss Devlin, our drama teacher, looks through the gap in the heavy red velvet curtains and claps her hands together with an excited squeal. I love our drama teacher. She's awesome, but she lives in her own little world, almost lost in some fantasy, always thinking about the next play we can produce. The woman is 50, going on 15, I swear, but I'll let her enthusiasm put a smile on my face until I step on stage where Alan is waiting and my eyes find Onyx sitting in the second row. I let my gaze rest on her only for a few seconds, but the look in Alan's eyes tells me that I wasn't subtle as I thought. My attention is back on Miss Devlin, who's introducing me and Alan as respectively the president and the secretary of the drama club. Welcome to our tight-knit little family. I'm so pleased to see a few new faces among you, but without further ado, I'm really excited to announce the first production of the year. Alan, darling, can you pass around those scripts, please? Alan jumps off the stage instead of using the steps by the side, fucking showing off, and begins distributing the scripts. When he gets to Onyx, he lifts his gaze in my direction, making a point of not showing any emotion and moving on quickly. I love Alan like a brother, but sometimes he can be such an unfeeling jerk. It's not even funny. When everyone has a script, Miss Devlin continues. So, as I was saying, without further ado, I'm pleased to announce that this year the Drama Club will produce a modern rendition of a timeless classic, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. We'll put on 2 shows on the 22nd and 23rd of December. We'll start auditions immediately. Please have a look at the list of roles on page 3 and bah humbug, not fucking Christmas again. Onyx hasn't even opened her script while Miss Devlin is talking, and her reaction turns every single head in the theater. Everyone's laughing, including me, Alan, and Dylan, and then Onyx blushes adorably, muttering an apology and sinking deeper into her seat, as if that could hide her. Miss Devlin claps her hands in her typical excited gesture and declares, "It looks like we've just found our protagonist. Come up here, young lady, and read for me." Onyx sinks further down into her seat. No, thank you. I'm not the right person for this. I absolutely despise Christmas. That's exactly why you're perfect for it. The version of A Christmas Carol is called Her Bah Humbug, and Scrooge in this play is female high school senior who hates Christmas because for the past 3 years she's been dumped on Christmas Eve. Every year by a different boy. She's closed her heart to love and to the magic of Christmas, and 3 nights before Christmas Day, she gets visited by 3 ghosts who look exactly like her exes. Each ghost shows her the error of her ways and that the 3 boys left because of her selfish behavior. And that Christmas has nothing to do with her heartbreak. When on Christmas morning she decides to change, she'll find love as her exes declare their undying feelings for her. So our protagonist promises each of the guys to give them a chance and that she'll choose one. I've decided to leave the ending to the spectators. They'll be given voting cards and choose. Among the people who choose the winning man, we'll draw a prize for $500 worth of gifts from a few shops in town who have decided to donate. Onyx seems more and more horrified by each word uttered by Miss Devlin. No, I'm definitely not the right person for this. The teacher giggles as if Onyx was joking. Nonsense! You just said the opening line, Scrooge says. So it's decided. You're Scrooge. This is non-negotiable if you want to be a part of the club. Yes, ma'am, Miss Nina. Okay. Onyx. I can't believe this. There is no amount of protest or pleading to convince our drama teacher to give the lead role in the Christmas play to someone else. I wait until the end of auditions to approach Miss Devlin, but my plan to plead discreetly is thwarted by a resounding protest as soon as the full cast is announced. The protests come from a tall blonde girl who, with a nose ring, dressed in the tightest jeans I've ever seen. Valentina Johnson is a regular in every school production. She's always played the female lead, and Holly and I hate her. Holly hates her because Valentina is the classic mean girl, and my bestie has come to blows with the school's queen bee quite a few times. I officially hate her in solidarity with my bestie, but in reality, it's because she's always hanging around Robin and Alan. I admit that I'm jealous, and several times I've seriously wondered if she was more than friends with one or the other. It's hard to tell because I've never heard of anything official, and Alan's Facebook doesn't shed any light by not specifying a relationship status, but she behaves as if both boys were her private property. That's complete bullshit, Miss Devlin. How can you give the lead to an inexperienced actor? Oh, maybe I should do that again. That's complete bullshit, Miss Devlin. How can you give the lead to an inexperienced actor? I can't hide a sarcastic eye roll. Way to go, Marilyn Monroe. Antagonizing our teacher isn't the way to change her mind. And in fact, Miss Devlin tells her the roles aren't awarded according to seniority in the club, but to the person who's deemed better suited to a certain role. That doesn't convince Valentina. She'll ruin the whole production, and she doesn't even want to do it. Tell her, guys. She turns to the three ghosts. Miss Devlin has already begun to refer to them, but the guys don't come to her aid. They have three very different but equally silent reactions to the whole situation. Robin seems startled and terrified, like a deer caught in front of headlights. Alan seems furious, with his dark gaze fixed on me and his jaw clenched so tightly that I wouldn't be surprised if it cracked. Dylan observes the whole scene with an amused smirk on his handsome face, and I seriously wonder what's so funny. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm going to end, because there's your plot. Boop, boop. So, in order to see how the cast goes, how the play goes, and how her life ends up for Christmas, you gotta read the rest of the book. Do I have Alyssa on here or her PA? I don't even know who her PA is. Nina, do you remember how much this was? I think it was free on KU. I'm pretty sure. I think that's how I got it. I'm not sure. Yay, Sarah. Okay, Sarah, give us some prices, darling. Thank you, Audrey. Oh, me. But yep, it's a really cute book. It's a good book. You just gotta... You just gotta read it. Sorry, I have messages popping up the whole time I'm talking to you guys, so sometimes I have to go through things a little crazy. So, $2.99 if you buy it off of Amazon, she says. Whoop, whoop. And it's a Christmas book. Christmas is 1 week away, y'all. This would make a great book for a young adult. Or for an older adult. It's a good book. So, tomorrow night, get me some hot tea, I think, for tomorrow. We'll be reading Guarding Light by Kate McCoy. It's book 1 in her series. Book 1 of the Dark Series trilogy. So this is one that she booked way back when I first started. And so you guys are going to enjoy it. Did everybody agree? Audra, I am 110% with you, bah humbug. Yes, Onyx and I have a lot in common, except bad things don't always happen at Christmas. I just dread it. I dread being all sociable with people I don't want to be sociable with. So, all right, ladies and gents, I hope everyone enjoyed it. Remember, if you read a book, make sure you review it. Give an honest review. And I always say honest, don't be mean. I can't imagine giving less than a 3-star review. To me, 3 stars is a pretty bad book, but it's because a lot of times the author just don't need to be writing. Or maybe they need to go back to the drawing board and figure out where they're going wrong. But they're not going to know they're bad unless you tell them they're bad. But do it in a very nice, respectful way, please. Thank you. And if you loved it, let them know. And let them know why. You know, always let them know why. So, alrighty. Let's get off from here and go spend some quality time with my boyfriend. Alrighty. You guys have a wonderful evening and happy reading.